Hello, I'm Mark Forsyth. I write books about the history of the English language, so I thought I'd give you a 5-minute tutorial on how to write English poetry, how to write English verse, and we'll do the Iambic pentameter because that's incredibly easy to write. It doesn't even have to rhyme, and it's also the greatest English verse form. It's what Shakespeare used. It's lines like, "Once more unto the breach, dear friends, once more," or "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?" Half the most famous lines of poetry you know are probably in the Iambic pentameter. "To err is human, to forgive divine. Things fall apart, the centre cannot hold. They also serve who only stand and wait." Those are all Iambic pentameters. And all you need to know to write English verse, all you need to understand is that English is a stressed language. Now, stress is something which is really easy to hear when you're listening to a foreign language. If you're listening to an Italian conversation or doing a bad impression of an Italian conversation, which I'm about to do, then you hear lots of ta-dums and tum-das. So da-da, ba-da, di-di, ba-do, ba-da, da, ba, di-da, ba-da, da, 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 ba-da. And you may not realize it, but English is exactly the same. We're a stressed language as well, and you can just hear it, and you're able to. So, for example, we all can hear the difference between the word desert, as in the Sahara Desert, and dessert, as in the thing you have after main course. And spoken, the only difference between those two is that one of them has the stress on the first syllable, desert, and the other has the stress on the second syllable, dessert. So it's to-tum instead of tumta. And it's really easy. And if a waiter came to your table and said, "What would you like for dessert?" you would know immediately that the waiter got it wrong. There are quite a few words in the English language which change depending on where you stress them. There's invalid and invalid, console and console. But every word has a natural stress. And if you're ever trying to work out where it is, the best thing to do is to say the word really angrily. If you calmly say the word potato, it's hard to hear where the stress is. But if you imagine that for some reason you are furious about potatoes and say, "Potato," you can hear that the stress is on the middle syllable there. And if you said potato, then you would hear that that was wrong. This is going to make my downstairs neighbours think I'm utterly insane, which I am actually. Anyway, where was I? Yes, there's also natural stress. There are also natural stresses in an English sentence. So you'd say a cup of tea, to-tum, to-tum. You wouldn't say a cup of tea. That would be weird. You might say, "I want a cup of tea," to-tum, to-tum, to-tum. Or, "I really want a cup of tea," 4 to-tums. Or you could say, "I really want a lovely cup of tea," 5 to-tums in a row. That's an Iambic pentameter. That's it. "I really want a lovely cup of tea. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? But soft what light from yonder window breaks. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown." All of these Iambic pentameters, when in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes. It's just 5 to-tums in a row. And that's it, really. That's all you need to know to write an Iambic pentameter, although I will give you 2 extra tips. First off, when people start trying to write Iambic pentameters, they're trying to write poetry, so they try and think of something incredibly profound or emotional, deep and meaningful to say. And that's really stupid because you have to learn the rhythm first and then you'll be able to work in the rhythm. So what you should do at the beginning is just to write nonsense, any old nonsense, write bilge, write drivel, just make it completely meaningless. "I'm sitting in this chair, the sky is blue. A kangaroo is making apple pie. A tortoise doesn't learn to read a map." That's really good enough. Just do it aloud and say it so that you can get the rhythm just flowing in your head so that you can improvise in Iambic pentameters. And the other tip is to use filler words. When you're trying to fill out a rhythm and you can't get it right, just throw in a meaningless "oh" or a "now" or an "I think" or something like that. That's why so many poems do start with the word "oh." It's just to fill out the rhythm. "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date." The word "do" in "rough winds do shake the darling buds of May," "do" doesn't mean anything there. Shakespeare just chucked that in for the rhythm, that's all. To-tum, 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 to-tum. That's it. Go and practice. Write anything you like. You can do it while you're doing the washing up. You can do it in the shower. I find it's much better than counting sheep to get to sleep. If you write anything particularly amusing, do feel free to leave it in the comments. I will be back to do some more lessons on English. Next one will be on the Iambic tetrameter and the ballad meter. Until then, I've got to plan for my birthday party tomorrow. This is Mark Forsyth going back into splendid isolation.